My last predictions video, I was 5 for 5, baby. And yes, I'm slightly smug. Let's do 2024 predictions. So this year I've got no less than 7 predictions, and yes, I might be cocky, but genuinely, will I be right? Let's see. I genuinely cannot guarantee the future, but I've done a lot of analysis on this and I think I will be right. So first of all, I think there will be a lot of energy grants. Now, there's already talk about this already, but we had the old government and Conservatives talking about the EPC changes, which was fucking moronic, but there we go. And then Rishi, the new part of the Conservative government, has said, well, that's fucking stupid in his own way, which I'm not going to try and do it. A posh version of me. Anyway, so we're going to have these energy grants coming in to enhance properties. Now, what does it even mean and what's the opportunity? Well, I think there's going to be a lot more companies popping up. You know, like, I'll give you a stupid, but you remember like the whole banking thing where they upgraded you and then it was like the PPI claim scandal and all of that. And you had these pop-up businesses taking advantage of it all. I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot of pop-up green companies coming in 2024, and it's going to be to do with housing. I think there'll be a lot of funding available for EPC, G, F, E, and even Ds. We'll see if this comes in, but I'm pretty confident. Now, what does this even mean? Well, for me, what I'm doing is I'm deliberately targeting D and E housing. I'm actually not interested in C very much at all. The reason is yes, if you've got an EPC C, it puts you in the most protection, but there's very little uplift that you can have. Whereas right now, legally, the EPC, Energy Performance Certificate, you can have it as an E and rent it out. And I genuinely cannot imagine that happening. This is subject to Conservatives staying in, not fucking it up, and Labour not being absolute dicks. We'll see if that happens. So what will happen is the opportunity is buying these lower down properties, E's, maybe even F's, getting them to an E, but actually these grants will really kick in and you will enhance the value of the home for free. Prediction number 1. Next is the property supply shortage. We're kind of at this stalemate right now where there's properties starting to sell. And in 2023, my prediction is that we do 1.1 to 1.2 million house sales. We're around the 1.1 mark, so it was on the lower end. Now you might think, oh, is that the market slowing down? Well, yes and no, but it's also sellers' reluctance. You have to bear in mind, in the property world, there's wants and needs. Are there people that need to sell their property? Sure. You know, you've got debt, divorce, inheriting a property, so probate, maybe repatriation, moving away, so where you have to sell the property. But most of the time, it's a want. I want to upgrade. I want to downgrade. I'm thinking of selling and traveling the world after COVID, finding my inner peace, whatever the fuck it is, right? So it's not really a necessity for a majority of people. And that's why with the increased interest rates, the market slowed back down. And by the way, it's not a slow market. It's really worth noting that. It's just a slower market to the ridiculously paced market over the last couple of years since COVID. So you've got all these sort of sellers sat on their hands waiting for the opportunity because they don't need to move right now, and it makes it more difficult. Now, what happens there is it makes it really difficult because the demand is actually still quite high. You'd be shocked how resilient the UK economy is, especially when it's around property. And the reason for that, by the way, is we also have crazy investment externally from places like America, Singapore, the UAE, Hong Kong, etc. And the reason for that is we've got one of the oldest property markets in the world. It's almost 1,000 years of evidence that your UK is a great place to invest in property. So what this is going to do is the demand is higher than the supply. There's going to be a shrinkage in supply anyway. And what that does is basic economics. When you've got supply versus demand, demand is higher. What happens? Prices go up. Now, do I think there's going to be dramatic increases? I'll get to that in a moment. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but number 3 is to do with unemployment. So I think unemployment as a net figure is going to go up. My best guess would be 50,000 people. That doesn't mean 50,000 people get made unemployed over the next year. I think it's going to be a lot higher than that. But I'm talking about the net position, because obviously a bulk of those people made unemployed will then end up getting another job. But in my opinion, I think there will be a net unemployment increase of 50,000 people in the UK. Added to that, we're going to have the Renters Reform Bill coming into play. Now, it's been talks, but here's my prediction around it. I think it will be delayed. In case you don't know, the idea of the Renters Reform Bill is to make it more fair for both landlords and renters. In theory, it's great, but as with many things that the government do, sometimes the theory and practicality do not match completely, and because some politicians are fucking idiots, being bluntly about it. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a delay. I think it would be a shock to me if it genuinely comes into full play in 2024. I do think the Renters Reform Bill will come into play, but I think we're going to see it in 2025. Number 5, I think the 2024 is the build to rent year. Dun, dun, dun. Why is this? Well, developers need different exits right now, and then you've got Lloyds, one of the biggest buy-to-let lenders out there, that's decided, you know what, I also want to be the biggest friggin' landlord. And so what are they doing? Well, they are targeting to own 50,000 homes. In the South Bank development in Leeds, we've got Legal and General doing 350 football pitches worth of development. How crazy is that? But I genuinely believe it's going to be the year of build to rent. There's been signed off funding of about 4.6 billion. That's with a B, by the way, not a mem. Mem? A billion, right? 4.6 billion. And I think there's going to be more. I think we're going to see these mini cities almost just turning up. To give you a nice idea, I'm from Dartford originally, which is down south. Dartford is about the same size of this development field. What? How crazy is that? Dartford's not tiny. It's not tiny. 350 football pitches worth, right? It's the second largest residential development ever in Europe. Now, here's my prediction. Not only will it be the build to rent, which, by the way, if you are near one of these developments, buy as much as possible. Buy as much as possible. Obviously, because it's not just properties. Think about 350 football pitches. You're going to have hospitals, new motorways, schools, cinemas, ice rinks, infrastructure. It's a complete extension of the city centre. And that's my next tip. If you've got a big one next to a city centre, everything around it, the wealth will go up. Guaranteed over the next 5 years. 100%. Properties that I own in that area that I bought for about 70,000 about 6 years ago are now worth over 150,000 pounds. What the fuck? Right? Now think about it. That's because of all of the money getting pumped in. When a city centre extends, loads of job opportunities come in. Everything within that circle becomes expensive. Think within the M25 of London, for example. And then the wealth pours out because more money goes in, it gets too expensive, so then they go out, so then the more demand goes up. And if you want to hit the 5-year growth curve, you want to go to the towns within probably about up to half an hour drive of that city centre location. You will be happy. Final prediction is Leeds will lead with this. I genuinely believe that there will be no other area in the UK that invests in this the way that Leeds has. Number 6, interest rates. And I know we don't like talking about interest rates, seeing the Bank of fucking England has increased them 14 times in 2023, and they're going to probably keep them the same. I genuinely believe that actually we're going to go through a bit of consistency. Now, in my opinion, don't hate me for saying this, I think they should have increased them another 0.5%. I think, just so you understand, inflation is like hitting the accelerator on a car. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes you go too fucking fast and you're getting out of control. The country was going too fast, we had to apply the brake. The brake is the interest rate. We don't actually control the number on inflation, we just contribute to it. Like, for example, how many of you could go to your car? Right, close your eyes, go 70 miles an hour. You don't. right? But you do know the more you push on the accelerator, the faster you're going. You go, oh shit, we're going 70 miles an hour now on a 30. Maybe we should slow down. We put the foot on the brake, that's the interest rates, and that's very deliberate. So we increase interest rates to bring the inflation down. I think actually we're probably going to stay the same. I'm hoping to see a 0.5% increase. I know, I shouldn't say that as a property investor, right? I think that would nail down the inflation, and honestly, it's the weak, the novice, the newbies that don't know how to play in the world of higher interest rates. For people like me who are a little bit more advanced as investors and a bit more analysis on the market, we love it because we get to rinse the opportunities, and I have now got access to the single best investments that you can get in the UK because of the same thing that people are nervous about. So honestly, I think it could increase between 0 and 0.5%. I doubt it will go up further than that, and I believe that it will start to come down, yes, down, by the end of Q3 2024. Let's see if that one comes in right. And finally, the market prices. I think overall the UK is going to go down about 2 to 2.5%. Okay, which is, by the way, absolutely fine. That is not a bad thing at all. We need this recalibration, and so it's going to be a window of opportunity. I genuinely believe, and this isn't the video for it, I think we've got 6 months, say until the end of June. I think we've got until the end of June to rinse it. Absolutely rinse the market, and then we are going to see a rebound, especially the first time the Bank of England stabilizes or lowers that rate again. It's going to shoot up. It really is going to shoot up. Now, here's the funny prediction. I think the overall market will go down 2%. I predict, and I'm going to share the data in a year's time on this with you. I predict that the areas that I invest in will go up 4%. All right? So I think there will be a 6% spread between the overall market and our micro market. And the reason for that is because of our target criteria. So at Spire, we've got a trademarked criteria that we trademarked as target criteria, where it takes account of over 50, almost 60 checkpoints of data analysis to make sure we are isolating the best area in the UK to investing at any one point. And I'm going to prove that in a year's time, where hopefully I'm going, I was wrong, it was actually 10%, which I very much doubt. But genuinely, those are my predictions. Let me know. You might think I'm full of shit and everything like that. Last year I did this very video about 2023, and the amount of people like bullshit, wishful thinking, all of these sort of things, and I got all 5 out of 5 wrong. So fuck you if you're still watching. And if you're not, forget that comment. But genuinely, I really hope you got value from this video. If you're watching this and you're like, damn, I want to take advantage of this window of opportunity, but I don't know how to analyze the areas. I don't have the time to invest. I don't have the experience. And to be fair, I'm scared because the change creates this fear around it, and I don't want to get it wrong. Well, that's where we come in. At Aspire, I don't just buy properties myself. I help people just like you build your portfolios. So if you've got 50 grand, 100 grand or more that you want to invest in the right way and not have inflation eroding it, put APG in the comments. That's Aspire Property Group. Put APG in the comments now. I'll send you a link, and I'll also put a link in the comments and I'll pin it to the top. This is your time to shine. We'd love to work with you. Fill in your details. We'll have a one-to-one call with yourself and one of my team, and we're going to help you build your portfolio and make 2024 your best investment year yet. And what's even more, if you do this within January, we've got some really special deals that we can work with you on. So put APG in the comments. If you got value from this, make sure you tap that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to make 2024 your best year yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.